Welcome back to the Fantasy Take TV podcast. We're here for the round 2 review and the all-important round 3 trades. A lot of people on the bubble, some not so because of these early buys, but we'll be here to chat all those rookies we think are important, some failed ones that we might be trading out, some mid-prices, of course. A lot have started really good this year, and if you've got them, you'll be in a good spot, but there are some that always fail, as they do. Some concerns with a couple of premiums maybe, and then we'll talk about Baz, me and George obviously didn't start him. We'll see what our plans are with him, if he plays this week or not, and then we'll chat some defenders. A lot of people probably making some trades in the back line this week. So, George, how'd you go this week, mate? And who's your MVP and the fault?
Improvement on this week, so I'll take that. Went from 30k to 6.7k, but I think if I captained like a Sheasel, I'd be like back at 15k. So there's really nothing in it at the moment. 2018 I scored, so I'll take that. Flynn has been an absolute debacle as expected. I just didn't expect it to happen round 2. I think I'll patch that up this week, just because a lot of money sitting there.
Yeah.
So see how we go. My MVP, I'm going to give it to Jordan Clark. Just watching Zorko and Sinclair and Dale just kill us past 2 weeks, and I just needed someone that can sort of like get within that range, which was Jordan Clark, who I've got in that slot. So happy with his 122. Had a few contested knock-ons and contested marks late, so that was good. So very happy with that pick. Trades, and then fault of the week, just give it to Flynn or myself for picking him, whoever it is. Yeah, we've been hit many times. I don't even really want to talk about it. It's just acknowledge your stupid decision and move on.
Yeah.
My trades were not good. Not a good week to stuff trades up. Blew a boost. I did. So Hasty to Levi was a pretty simple one. That was fine. I did Finlayson down to Max Hall. I think he'll stay in the 23. It's whether he's sub or not. I thought he was good though. Like, worked up the ground and just didn't put up the score. DT score was a bit better. But not really a rookie that you like. If you have him, it's okay. If you don't have him, you're not really chasing him. Finlayson to Hall. And that got me money to go from a James Leake. Should have started young O'Sullivan, but up to SDK, who is probably a trap, but he'll make a bit of money at least, but not worth the boost. So it's like, we need to make better trades this week. How'd you go?
You still beat me, mate, even with that. I got 2014, so pretty similar, pretty bang on the same. And I'm into 1.6k, so MVP, tough one. I was going to give it to maybe like a Rankin was a good one, I thought, George. We're watching the game and he was on about 60 at halftime. He came out and then there was some, little concern. He was off the ground. We're all like, oh, crap. Thought I'd get a bit longer out of Rankin this year before he gets injured. And then he came back on and got 30 points in about 2 minutes, kicked a ridiculous goal from the boundary, and got his score to, a decent one. So could have been him, but I'll give it to Cherry. Someone I was keen on to start, but I was going to be a Flynn tour until I just got too nervous about it. Even with the best 18, I think it's like it hasn't killed you, obviously, George, too badly because that's the game these days. You can, a lot of people, I don't even think touch Flynn yet, that have him at R2. They're just letting him go and maybe deal with it down the road, which is something that you wouldn't really usually be able to do, but I went with Cherry in the end, and a lot of people were saying his early run was a bit tough, and that first quarter he was just dominant, and not like absolutely dominant in the hitouts per se, but he was just dominant all over. He was grabbing it out of the ruck, doing the clearances himself. Like he had like 7 contested first quarter, 6 clearances. Like as a ruckman, that's pretty nuts. And then the North midfield was really on top, and it was really started with him and probably Tom Powell in the middle. So.
He had 2 tackles as well. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Maybe it's upside. I don't know.
But
his first quarter really set up his game in the score, and he was really good. So Yeah, probably him, and then Fault, maybe Horn Francis. It could have been Sheasel, but I don't feel right giving it to Sheasel. So,
No.
Horn Francis, yeah, and it might not, totally his fault, but playing a bit more forward this week, and I gave away a few free kicks, and just hasn't started as well as you would have liked. He's had the opportunity last week, a lot of midfield time, and didn't happen. But obviously they got pretty smashed, and this week maybe, yeah, just cruised as well because they were on the other side of the ledger, and it was an easy one. Maybe we need a closer game for Horn Francis to actually think like he needs to do something. But I'm not sure. But yeah, he's not gone anywhere. I've seen a lot of trade outs actually on the 10K or something have traded him out. So I wouldn't be doing that.
Round 1, played a bit forward. Round 2, maybe Luko's just going down mid-game.
Didn't help.
I mean, it is a slight concern if they've got forward injuries and he's playing a bit more forward.
Oh, look, if you told me he was average 70 the first 2 rounds, we probably all would say, cool, I wouldn't have started him, but I don't think, and not many people would have guessed that.
Yeah.
So he stays, and we hope he turns his form around pretty soon.
Can I just say, a big learning curve for me this week was, I think I've always been happy to pay for players at fair price, but I think this year, like just 40 trades, looking at fantasy strategies, I was trying to think, I was almost like very hesitant to pay. Like I had like a Jordan Clark and whatnot. I thought Sherry was slightly overs and people get him cheaper. Maybe they get 50K on us, but I think, just watching all these mid prices fail and the boosts I've had to get out of trouble, well, this week especially, I think I'm going to be happy to pay a fair price for more players next year. Panicked a bit on the value and especially the Flynn R2 situation debacle. But one I'll remember for next time. I'm just quite happy to play for quality premiums. They're all at 20K discount as well from last year.
Yeah,
like 3% off, whereas the rookies have only dropped like 3-4K. So one for next year. Just be happy to pay for quality, good players rather than reach for your short and your Perryman and whatnot. So learning.
Yeah, we'll speak about the defenders towards the end of it's on our run sheet, but then we just got spooked too much about a lot of them. Like we didn't like a lot of them, but for what reason I'm not sure. But pretty much 6 or 7 of them are going really well to start the year. So maybe that was an overreaction. And my trades were going to be into Corey Warner, and then it was I forgot who I did to Levi. I think Hugo. So that's what it was. I just got real big FOMO towards the end before the West Coast game on Sunday. Not having Josh Dunkley, it just was pissing me off that I didn't have him, and the Sarong tag was still looming. So I swapped the Flynn to Corey Warner trade and did Sarong to Dunks, and I was like, I was just happy. I was like, stuff it, and it didn't really turn out that good in the end. Sarong, as he always does, and I did say this last week, fight through the tags pretty well. Had a good last quarter.
Lucky scaling, and then Dunkley missed a soda at the end. This could have been easily.
Dunks kicked the goal early in the 4th, and then I didn't see him. He went home.
They'll both be good regardless.
Correct. I think Sarong will come good. Got a few good matchups, and Brizzy's run's still ridiculous. So it was looking good too with Warner. I think Warner was on 20 maybe through 3 quarters, and then he had a decent last quarter as well. But look, at the end of the day, I think Flynn is just sitting there for me as a placeholder for Baz when he gets back, and that'll be my route to get him, whether it's next week or a week after. All right, we'll move on. A few rookies, George. So I've looked at some trade-ins this week, and there's quite a few without some key ones. Like, Noddy's got a lot of trade-ins. So hopefully he started him. He was one that we were pretty keen on all pre-season.
I think he's lost a few centre bounces, but he's still doing well.
Really good. Really good. Had a good game on the wing, I think.
West Coast this week.
Mostly West Coast, Great matchups to come. If you don't have him, we've probably got him ahead of Levi right now, but both, I think, very key. Levi's going to get forward status. So those two, I think, are non-negotiables. If you for whatever reason, don't have them two, they're the two I would be getting in first this week. Next one we have is Lindsay. Just started the year really well, George. On his wing, he's just linking up really, really well with his teammates, tackling a bit too this week, which is good to see. So, I mean, yes, he's a bit elevated on his other teammate we're going to talk about, but I think I'd still have him ahead of Henderson, just because points on field are going to be a lot better, I think.
He looks
What's
good.
your opinion?
Yeah, I'll probably get him this week, which means I have to cut a Will Ashcroft. But I think it's just like 6 deep in the mids has not worked. I think like 4 was probably optimal for like a
Yep.
Chera, Oliver. Then you pick your M1, M2. I think that's probably the most optimal. And then you can fit all these guys on the field. So, look, good job security, 2 really good scores in his system, what 2 80s or something. And 1 will drop off, but still the 80s in the second game. Probably field him. I don't know what he averages. I think it's probably 70 plus, and that's good enough for me. And yeah, he looks good. So I think probably must have, if close to it. I think you can get by without him, but yeah, pretty close to a must have though. So yeah, he's good rook.
Yep. And this Henderson, his teammate, I really think he's going to be a decent rook too. Probably the only question with him is how long does he stay in the team? Like, what's his runway? Can he avoid the sub? Can he avoid?
Probably come back round 4.
Yeah, can he avoid getting subbed out? That's probably the thing, because I think, well, if he plays the next 2 weeks, pops a couple of 50s, he's made 100K just like that. So
cheap as well. I'm
so
taking him.
cheap. Yep.
I think Spargo might go out before him potentially, but also Melksham can come back. I don't know if Melksham's best 22 anymore though. So I
See
think
the
you
team
just
sheets
take
this
it.
week, and then Cozzy's back the week after, and you just, yeah, as you said, hope he's ahead of Spargo, a Sharp maybe,
Yep.
and can hold his spot, because yeah, really 3 weeks. If you can get the 3 games out of him, rises, that'll be a success. Elijah Hewitt, this is one I'm going to miss, and I think I'm a little bit unhappy about it. I went with Joe Barry in the forward line as a bit of a punt. He didn't cash in against the Richmond this week, and I think Elijah's looked pretty good. He's had a crack, missed a couple of shots on goal, maybe 3 or 4 now in the opening 2 rounds, so he could be doing a lot better. He did go missing in the 4th quarter on the weekend. Pretty much scored what he did, 58, I think, through 3 quarters, but he's getting up and back. He's not getting a lot of mid time, but he is getting a little bit, and I just like the look of him. He's had his injury problems. Hopefully they don't come back, soon. And if you have him, I think it'd be a nice rook. But we just have him below those diesel rooks and whatnot, I think, to get in. But if you have them, or have Lindsay, you can get Henderson. Hewitt's probably the next one you'd look at. You agree?
I have him, and yeah, I think it's probably more your bench option. Not much mid clock. They gave the mid clock to Baker, was full time mid, and he took Graham's role, and then Clay Hall got a bit of mid time as well. So look, the mid time, it's going to be a few spurts in the midfield, like your 10 to 20% most likely, that sort of range. Maybe it builds over the season. Yeah, he's one that probably needs match fitness as well. 3rd-year player, hasn't played much. I think he's a good trade in, not a must have, but like I think he can get us. I think he can get to like high 200s, maybe 300K, even more if he builds his way into the season. So I think he's a fine rook.
Yep. Yeah, one I'm a bit upset I don't have sitting just on my forward bench maybe or whatnot, but looks good. Cost, the next one in defence. Everyone's looking or screaming for a defender rookie, Jordan. This kid might be the one. Won the Rising Star. Had a big last quarter, and I think there's real pros and cons with him. I started him. Really just was looking for a warm body in defence, but I can see the queries of trading him in. Kolajajny back in 1 to 2. Stewart's not going to be out that long. If anything, maybe 1 week. Could even play this week. So there are concerns, I guess. Does STK go back? Do they bring Stanley in? What does Chris Scott do? Who knows? But I think he's bought himself at least 1 or 2 more weeks for now, and then it just comes down to how he goes. I don't think his scoring is going to be that good personally. He had a really, really good game on the weekend, but after watching the first couple of weeks, he's still usually manning one of the key forwards. If Stewart's fit, he'll be the one that's peeling off, and he doesn't get involved in a heap of the chip mark around the back line. It's the rest of them, Henry's, Lawson, Humphreys, and Guthrie. So I like him. The 88's in his system, George. So you can't, for 2 weeks that's in there. Maybe
250 is like 90K or something.
So if you're looking for that, I think that's something people want. But we do have Bice coming next week. So
yeah,
he's one I think you can pass on. I think for Lindsay and Henderson if you want, and look at a Bice next week is how I see it.
Yeah, it's just interesting. If Koldajny's groin is like, it's a weird one where they just said it was bothering him in the preseason games, so they're just like, we'll give you 3 weeks for it to settle. Groins can be funny though. They can be a couple weeks, or it turns into something worse. Like look at Degoe, like couldn't really shake it all last year. I guess it depends on what sort of the nature of it. So yeah, it's one. I mean, look, does he play when Koladajny and Stewart are in the team? Well, he wasn't early in the season, so I wouldn't. In practice games, they gave Koladajny the time. So
yeah, they get like
he's
maybe 20% time on ground in those games.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass and opt for Lindsay. Just the long-term JS is just tied to other players. I think. Like, can they fit him in? I don't know. Because he played that Rising Star this week. I'm skipping for now. I think there's better rooks, and got to remember to play Saints. It might be wet this week at the Gabba, so break even could crash. But
yeah,
look,
I think it's viable.
At least you're going to get like minimum 50K out of him, and then after that could be more. Yeah, if Koladajny's coming back and Stewart's back as expected, then I'll pass.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think it's
a hard one.
I think it's not as difficult when it's best 18. You don't need, like, if you're still fielding 3 defender rookies and they're these ones that we have that are not great, and it's not going to hurt you as much. It's just not. You can fix that up over the next 2 or 3 weeks before round 5. If it wasn't best 18 and you needed someone to field and you really didn't want to field these guys, we've started, then maybe it's more important. But
yeah, I wouldn't. If something happens to Koladajny, if something worse happens, like say he's due next week, I'd actually wouldn't mind paying 200K, like get rid of like a Zach Reed or Train or something for him.
What if they said he's like out another month or
just have nothing to back?
Yeah.
Anyway, just in case if he's like long-term JS is there, but actually 200K is probably a dumb idea actually.
Maybe. Oh yeah. With Bice coming, I think you just it's either now or you don't go. Then we've got Max Hall. So I think he's one, like, if you have him, George, you hope he goes well this week against Richmond. If you don't, I think we've just listed a lot of other ones that we like more. And I probably wouldn't be trading him in ahead of them. So it's one of those ones.
I think he's got a lot of potential though. Like good round 1 score. I think one of the practice games he scored 80, I reckon. Then he scored 40 against Port when they got destroyed, and Rosie had like a million touches in the second practice game. So I think there's like spike game potential is there for him. It's just with Butler coming back, does he avoid the sub?
Yeah.
Starting sub or sub out. I'm not sure. Do they just give it to like a Clark or a Zach Jones or Garcia? Something like that.
Yeah. And lastly, people are going to ask about Murphy Reid, George, so we quickly should say something. I think if you, again, started him, I'd be happy, but I would have a lot of the rooks we've just spoken about over him. And I know he's actually scored fairly well. But, round 1 was 4 goals and it, barely got him a 50. And then this week was 70 odd, but he's just playing full forward role. And he got, a few score assists, I think. I think he'd be a decent player, just not a good enough role as some other rookies might have. And mid-only. There's a lot of other better mid-only rooks, I think. I'd have Henderson. I'll just get Henderson ahead of him, George.
Yeah. He's going to be a jet, Murphy Reid, but I think not priority for us in Supercoach. But yeah, might make a bit of money. Have you seen the Fremantle CBAs?
Yeah, what happened there?
O'Meara.
Andy way down. I think John was tagging Heaney, obviously, in the first maybe 2-3 quarters. I don't know. Sarong actually had a fair. I thought Sarong would maybe have a bit more forward time because of the tag, but he stayed in there, battled through it. I don't know. Freo, what are they doing?
If they lose this week, be interesting. WA.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's big. So we got Bice, as we said, Wade on, and then Closey's another one, George, maybe. That's just hard for him to get in that 22 and stay in it without being subbed or being a sub. So
I think it's worth keeping an eye on. Sean Manor might come back in.
yeah,
He's not on the injury list, so he must have played VFL, I'm guessing.
I think he played a quarter, someone said, and he had like 15 touches or something.
Like,
a couple
I think
of goals.
the sub risk is too high, but
Yeah.
he can score. Like, he's one. Surely he plays ahead of Jai Clark.
That would be who, yeah, but that still might be sub, right? That still might be 23rd player when Manor's back,
Yeah.
and then
Just gonna wait one on this.
Yep. All right, we'll talk about a couple of the. We've got one more, Marriage. Yeah, that was interesting. He actually, I think I saw him on 80 early in the fourth, and I was like, oh shit, Marriage is actually. He was sub. Was he round one? Was that what it was?
So he's on the bubble, but look, he's 220k. He's probably a bit more expensive. If you want
But
to
he
call
had
him
the
a rookie or
role.
not.
Had a couple, a few kick-ins. But
5
yeah, I did
kick-ins.
notice him on 80 something. I think early fourth,
Yeah.
and then I've just checked now. He finished on 70. So I don't know. Maybe his last few kicks were some clangers.
I can see
yeah.
why they didn't play. Like, he makes some blatant errors, and I've seen this in his highlights when he played defense as a junior. The role's good though, and his kicking is not too bad either. Like, yeah, there are clangers there, but some of his good kicks are really good.
Yep.
I think I'd almost like wait one and just pay the extra. I think his break even's like 20 or 30. So if he scores like 70, 80 this week, you can just pay extra 20, 30k or whatever if he looks good and gets a stack of kick-ins. But yeah, it was sub. So I think they'll give him a run, but want one more look, and it's still a little bit difficult to fit him in. There's a lot of guys 100k cheaper that are going to make lots of money. So yeah, a sneaky one, I think. But yeah, I'll just give it one more.
Yeah. I'll probably pick him up in draft. Shouldn't have said that because some of my league mates will be watching.
He's on my waivers, so I don't know what the order is. Hopefully I get him.
A big question this week, George, will be Sardis and Foss. So we've just heard Sardis. This was a hand issue, but now it's a finger issue that he did in the warm-up. Then he played, got 25 touches, 14 contested, 11 clearances. Bit of a weird one, but fingers can be tricky. So they'll probably be cautious with it, give him a couple of weeks. They got the bye, which helps. And then I think he'll be back into the team, is my opinion. But I think you have a different opinion to me, but I just don't like the pick. It just pisses me off. Someone who I think could be quite effective, just spending that much time on the bench. He's probably like, oh, look at Sardis' Tog this week. It's really good. It's like, yeah, it's still 63. Like, we're thinking that's good. Like, it's just annoying. And I think a 25 touch, 14 contested, game, it was a 78 SuperCoach is not. I just feel like that's almost going to be that's like a ceiling game for him. I don't know. I don't see how much better it can get. He doesn't tackle. That's still going to be the case.
Yeah,
really get forward and hit the scoreboard. He can't really kick when he gets it. Like, he's one wood, and his really good trade is his inside work, ball winning and contested ball. And he did that on the weekend, and that mustered a 78. And Parrish is coming back. I just don't see how his role increases. I think it's fine to hold, but I just I need his money. It's 200k. I'd get into someone that's going to make it quicker.
2 weeks. It's essentially a 2-week injury with the bye.
Yeah.
Minimum.
I lean more to trading him, but I can see why people, if you can do what you need to do trade wise, I get people holding him too. But
I'll hold for now. I'm just going to trade Finn O'Sullivan instead. May or may not be because I'm 5k short.
That might be a factor.
But Finn O'Sullivan's not going to score anything. At least he'll make a bit of
10K
money
this week.
Yeah. I think I'm happy to hold.
Yeah.
I think he'll come back to make money. Perkins has done his quad probably 3-weeker, I'd guess. I don't know. See what happens with the injury list. But I think they want him in the midfield, and they'll probably accommodate for that through Durham. Maybe Merritt gives a bit of time away there, as good as he is. Happened in round one. His CBA's been in the 50s, I think. So I think they're going to persist with him. There's clearly glaring deficiencies in his game that stop him from scoring.
He just doesn't have a lot of avenues.
Yeah.
He's really good at what he, that one thing he can do, but it's just not enough other things. One mark, one tackle. I don't know. Like, is that is that the best game he's going to play all year in this role? Like, it might be, unless he has a game where he kicks a goal, or
Yeah. I think
like maybe he has a game where he gets a few more tackles. Yeah, I think it's
I
fine to
think he
hold.
can make 150k, and I think a little bit of a victim of scaling too, because game was dead when he got going, a bit like the week before.
Yeah, maybe he would have got more with that contested ball in the closer one. Yeah, I think I'll be trading him and Foss, one this week, one next week. So I think I need his money. Yeah, I think it's fine to hold. And then you said with Foss, I think happy to trade him too. Just not going to make much money. Just not going to accumulate enough in that role. I think he's probably going to be better off up the ground, half forward, especially if North are going to be half decent. Maybe see more of the fruits of what his actual skills are. We saw a couple of flashes of it, but it's not going to do much for us down back, and not even for him, I think. So I hope they don't keep him in that role all year. He's not like a Shees or a Colby. And happy to move on. So failed mid prices. So Perryman, don't think we need to talk too much, George. That's a get. The rest, or maybe even Sanders, I think, someone on a similar boat. I mean, Trelaw's just gone. A setback,
Sanders
but
lost his mid pot.
He's not getting it anyway, so it's just that's a fail. I guess Flynn's somewhat of an interesting one. We don't really know what's going on yet with BJ. It was cramp, but he had his quad taped up, or or his thigh. I don't know. And Archer Reed looked like just a baby giraffe. Like he was struggling out there when he had to do 10 minutes in the ruck on his own. Like, I don't know. The Flynn thing is so stupid that they didn't give him another week after one bloody round against Wits. But
I mean, it proved probably to be the right call though.
Yeah, BJ did. Like, they were a lot better in the contest, but I think Flynn would have been just fine too this week. Did BJ really cause Omac that much problems, or did their midfield just lift? I don't know.
Probably got tied in the fourth quarter, the Eagles.
We'll monitor, but if he's not picked this week, then happy to turf if you still have him, or a lot of people might have already. And then Shaw's the last one I think that I didn't think would be this bad. But when you lose the kickouts, like he has one of a game where there was 15 opportunities, that's fail. Like he's gonna average 80 at best, probably maybe even worse. Like if he doesn't have those, and Ben Miller's taken him, and it wasn't just Ben Miller's closest. He'll quickly take him. Shorty was running away from them, and that's not usual, or what it's been for most of the like yes, Boston if he's closest would take him, or Shorty, but with Ben Miller doing it, and then maybe it's Uze wants to keep Ben Miller at full back, so if we turn it over, he's there to be ready to defend again. But Shorty was running all the way up to the wing and not even in the pocket to get a quick one and then get a kick. So if that's the case, he's got to go. And I know it's the Saints this week, but even still, you can hold one more, see how he goes. But for me, I'm just going to get out of it now.
I think I have to wait till next week to get out of it for me. I think, Port's a tough matchup for halfbacks. DT's not the worst, 85. It's interesting he's averaging more than Jordan Clark and DT at the moment. There's about a 40 SC differential. It's weird.
That's insane.
Not good signs. It's a failed pick. I think move on when you can.
Yep. Well, he's just like, unlike Geordie Clark, he doesn't get anything else that's SuperCoach wise, intercepts and not many marks in the Sarah and uncontested chip like Geordie does a lot more. So Shorty's just not, I don't know, baited once again. I wasn't really keen on him. I just fell into it. Shouldn't have been as concerned with those other defenders as we were. And, it really hurts to look now, George, but Shorty and Foss could have been Dale and just Henderson or just another rookie. Like, it's just painful to see that could have been the easy route. So, next up, we've got some concerns maybe with Sheasel and Horn-Francis. I don't think we need to spend too much on this, George. A lot of people maybe will be concerned, but She's your pick for a reason. Yeah, his break-even's going to be a bit high the next couple of weeks, but he just as easy can go large. He just had a bad game with some kick clangers, and he's still getting 28 touches. I think it's a good
Big
sign for
fourth quarter.
maybe others are stepping up. Like maybe that's a negative you could make up, but I still don't think that's the case. He'll still have a lot of influence on a lot of games. Knowing
Yep.
Shees will probably be pretty pissed off down at the club early every morning this week, doing some kicking. Like the kid's that motivated, he won't be happy with that, and I think he'll come out blazing the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and look
not
to
panicking.
improve. Horn Francis, maybe not the exact same can be said, but again, I'm not concerned. He's a forward that's going to be top 6, maybe not top 1, 2 like we thought, but he's at least going to be top 3 or 4, I'd say, especially with these DPPs not coming like we thought. So you just don't trade out someone like that has that potential for the year if he's not injured. So
yeah. What if you have Will Day? Are you trading this week?
I think Will Day's gone for me. Yep.
Yep.
I think it's straight to Finn Callahan or something like that for me would be
Yep.
easy. If not a defender, if you had a way of doing it, or maybe a chair if you missed him, I'm assuming everyone would have Clary. So yeah, I would be trading him.
Yeah, and just on DPPs as well, looks like Warner's mid-time was like
80 something
84% this week, I think, which means trending in the wrong direction. I'd rather we not get him as a forward, to be honest.
Yeah, makes it too easy.
Yeah, I think Nick Martin's tracking and Sam Draper probably not really viable anyway with dual ruck setup, but they're getting on track. I think Will as well, more mid-time. I think he's sitting on about 30% forward, so bit of a watch.
Levi's going to get it for sure, barring anything different. And then, Rowan, we know he's playing full ruck now. It's not going to happen. And I think that's about it. Track actually, maybe people, but he's still not even. I think he's mid 20%, so he'd have to play a fair chunk forward the next.
I think this week he was in the 30s somewhere for forward time.
Yeah,
but the week before was less. So
I should have get 35 though. So you need, he'll need like 40 plus for the next few weeks to get there. So it looks like not as many would be as we thought. I think a lot of forward lines for George are going to look like this with Warren Francis, Rankin, McRae, Daniel, Baz when he comes back for a lot of people, and then Levi, F6. That'll be so common.
Maybe get Philippou late in the year.
Maybe. But that'll be very, very common forward line. Baz, as not owners, George, I think we're just waiting on him. Fingers crossed, I think, for us that maybe he just takes another week off. Can attack some other trades we need.
That'd be very much appreciated.
Get some other rookies next week. Just not have to force him in.
Don't risk it.
Yeah. But when he is back and on the bubble, I think he'll be one we'll have to get straight in. Just that 140 in the system from round 1 is very annoying.
Well, the thing is, if we're getting rid of him, we're probably, unless you're trading like another failed mid-pricer, like you're trading rookies like a 1-up, 1-down, maybe carrying cash, but these rookies might be making money anyway.
Yeah, you think it might be early.
You're trading I don't know, Connor Stone when he's made 160k, or he's made like 60k, but his break evens he's projected to make a bit of money as well.
But Baz is going to go up much.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Work it out what the rookies are making and whether we can wait one who makes more money and whatnot.
Yeah, I think my advice would be to people who don't have him like us is, and I think it's the case. A lot of people would be carrying some cash at the minute with a lot of their failed mid prices and Flynn, and I would just not spend all that this week, knowing that Baz could be a priority next week. So don't go into next week with 10k in the bank and no real way of getting him straight away without having to turf another mid price or a premium. Just keep some and just plan. Have a way of getting him without having to blow up your team next week. If he does come back, ton up this week and look like an absolute must.
Could be like a short Perryman, whoever you got down there. SDK if he sucks again, down to Bice and someone up, easy done.
Yep. Mine's going to be Flynn. He's sitting there, and I'll just need 100 or so K to 120k to get Baz in, which will be from Foss and Sardis types downgrades. So now some speculative mid prices, George, that people might be looking to bring in. Don't think don't love going there. I know you didn't love going there last week with who you brought in. So I think I know what your opinion will be on most of these, especially in round 3. But Joel Frazier, I know you brought him in fantasy, right? Look, he's going to play a bit more mid-time now. Trelaw's set back, and that's what his role was on the week. I don't think he's played defence, right, since the first half of round 1.
I think it was mid-forward from what I saw. I think,
But
pretty sure.
Yeah, like I've looked at the splits. He's like 40% forward, 60% mid in the game just gone. Like he didn't touch the back line. So
I watched this
that's
game.
gonna
So I can
continue.
speak on it.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think he took many marks, if at all. I think he scored the ton, 75 DT, but 23 touches, kicked a goal at the end, which is really good. His tog's pretty good. I think he's like a good starting pick. I probably wouldn't trade into it though. Not a keeper. I think we'll get lots more money out of these rookies that are going to pop. And he's just a kid as well. So I think while the mids are out, I'm thinking like somewhere in the 80s that'll do. But he's a good player. He has a decent starting pick. So I wouldn't trade into it though.
Yep, I totally agree. I think if you got him nice, he's going to make a bit of money. Nice low break even, and I don't even know what it is, but I have to assume it is. But yeah, wouldn't trade in. Definitely not trade in. Is this Kane Farrell you've got right here?
He's averaging a ton, but
he's definitely one I was keen on in draft. I don't think I would have the nuts to start him or get him in Classic, but
yeah, Collingwood and Richmond. I'll just be careful. He's injury prone, so not for me. But if you started him, you're happy.
Are the kick-ins nice? I assume they'd be decent, but I think they still share him around at Port a bit. He had a bit more this week than he did last. A bit more of a majority. Evans a couple, Sin a couple, Farrell 6. But yeah, no, not someone I'm trading into. If you again like Frazier, you somehow manage to start Farrell, nice. He'll make you a bit of money. I just don't think you'll be a keeper, and you can. I mean, hey, he's the same price as Short. You better pick than him so far. So, and then there's Callahan, and this is one I think I don't believe you have to go there at all. Like I'm trading Will Ashcroft to him this week, and that on the surface just looks really stupid. Will just got a ton for us.
You love sidewaysing.
Still has a nice run coming. Yeah, I could just as easily go a freaking dead rook or whatever to Henderson. Be a smart SuperCoach player, but I'm not that. I'm too biased. Love Finn. He's only 21. It's very probably premature to get someone in like this that isn't totally proven yet. We know how good he is. I mean, clubs are throwing bloody big cash at him, but he is only 21. But his role's there now this year. Cog just kicked out. Hasn't touched a stoppage this year. Ward the same. It's just Tom Green, Finn, and Kelly. So he's in there. Looking at these matchups, like Hawks this week's not a totally easy one for mids, but I think he'll go all right. And then it's West Coast, like really nice matchup there. Then, funnily enough, it's the Saints after that, and I think the way Ross works, old Finny boy, really playing well to start his season, just turned down the Saints' big offer. I imagine Windy goes straight to him. Just as a bit of a Ross tactic, it would be classic Ross to do that. So that does scare me a bit, but he's got to break even at 0 Jords, and it's a bit of a free swing for someone that I'm really biased towards. So I don't think you have to go there. If you start him, I think it's nice.
What do you think he averages?
Probably like a 105.
It's doable, I think.
Something like that, and it's just more really hoping he goes well the next few weeks and makes a bit of coin, and then I don't think I'll keep. I mean, hopefully I can keep him to the buys if you get him. Like that's obviously the best case scenario, but it may not be. So we'll just see how he goes the next 3 weeks, and yeah, it seems like a real dumb trade. I think Ashcroft to him, you can just keep Ashcroft. I wouldn't be.
You're getting an M2 for an M4, really, in terms of CBAs.
Yeah, it's just passing up on Henderson doesn't seem smart when I can do that. No, that considering I already have costs in the back line. And
could you wait 1 week?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it if I waited one. I don't think I wouldn't get fit in for 500. It's 50K miss there.
Yeah,
Maybe you would because it's West Coast coming
Will's
up. And
break even 70, so you might cost you extra 20, 30K, but you'll get that back on a Henderson. I don't know, something to think about.
it is probably something I'll think about for the rest of this week. But yeah.
Yep.
Do love Finn. And then we got anyone else sort of mid-pricer-ish that people are looking at? I don't think so. They're probably the best one. People are going to ask about like your Chandlers and your. I think someone asked about Bowie. I just wouldn't be going there. Just don't go there this time.
I think I think he finished last year well.
Yeah, but there's
And
people to
no
come back.
Stephen May, so a bit of kick in. So
McVee as well whenever he's back. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be going there.
just got some breaking news on Baz and Stewart, and this was extremely predictable. Baz officially a test.
Mm-hmm.
Did a training session yesterday, brief appearance today. So a test for Geelong, like classic Geelong. They're never going to say 1 week. It was always going to be a test. So yeah.
Well, they didn't say anything last week. They knew about it, and they didn't even say he was a test. They just named him.
It's not Geelong's fault. It's AFL.
This almost makes me think saying he's a test is a smokescreen that he's going to be out, not play.
They need don't they fine him in the NFL for this?
Oh, it's very strict over in America, yeah. But they still forge it over there. Have you seen all the tanking stuff in the NBA? Like the Utah Jazz are just coming up with new injuries every day for their players. Like,
yeah,
they had their center Walker Kessler, who hasn't shot a 3-pointer in his life. He shot 8 the other day. Like that's just completely tanking. Like,
that's funny. And the other one, Tom Stewart, did drills today. Remains a chance to face the Lions.
Yeah,
they're both going to be tests. So thanks for nothing, Geelong.
What is it? Saturday night. So
yeah,
just got to keep an eye on it. Okay, I think we're going to speak on some defenders now. So before we do, Stewart, if you were an owner, surprisingly more owners than I thought there might be for Stewart. I mean, I know he did really well for some people towards the end of last year, maybe, but I'm someone that's always loved Stewart and looked his way. You may be the opposite, but I just didn't look his way this year. But there are a lot of owners, I think, especially in our Discord. So what would you do with the 9 in his system? Say he plays this week.
Hold.
Yep.
If he's playing, there's no reason to trade, really.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens every year. We say it all the time, but it's just 32 now. It's unlucky, but soft tissue last year. It's not for me, but I think you hold. It's cheap anyway.
And if he doesn't play, same opinion? Just 1 week, maybe?
Depends what your priorities are. I think Lindsay, Henderson, maybe O'Sullivan, if you're confident in his job security. Probably priorities, a Driscoll, Levi, all that. I think rookies are priority over trading this at the moment.
Okay. And then some defenders. So a lot of people with maybe Stewart if they want to trade him, but Short and Perryman and whatnot. A lot of people are going to be looking for a defender this week. Looked at a few matchups coming up, George, and Dane Zorko, for defenders, has
here we go again.
By far the best run you'll ever see. And he's already had a couple of good games, but I mean, we know Brizzy runs unreal, but for defenders, it's especially ridiculous. I think it's the 6th best, on the DFS website. It's now behind a $10 paywall, but a couple of people who have access to it in their Discord have showed that the next 6 games for Brisbane is the best 6 matchups for defenders over the last 10 in SuperCoach. And he's just gone 130 2 rounds to open the year.
This is a very, very bad spot. Needed to start.
It's not someone that I like trading into at 36.
Just you always worry about age regression, but it just doesn't look like it at all.
Is he LeBron James?
Try needling. I don't know, man. I probably would get him in if you can. I think the upside's worth the risk. I've never said that about a 36-year-old. I just said no to Stewart because he's 32, but I don't know. He's going to kill these teams. They never subbed him off last year to rest him. I don't know. It's just going to be tough anti-pod.
Surely if they are up 10 goals one game, he's the one that gets subbed. Surely. Probably won't matter. He'll be on 120 by then.
Yeah. And he's starting poorly. He's like half time, his scores have not been good. And then it's like 100 points second half. Like, what is going on?
He's a pig. He's genuinely a disgusting.
Does
little
anything
pig.
happen when's Coleman coming back? Is he even best 22?
I don't know. Jasper Fletcher's been playing really, really well down back to start the year. Berry's off a wing, helping back. He's good.
I can't shift to Zorko. He's too good. Coleman's
No, of course not.
TBC. That could be ages away. Would you go, okay, Zorko, Sinclair, Whitfield, Clark? Do you
If
have a
I'm paying
preference out
that
of those?
money, if I'm paying that much for like on the Zorko, Whitfield, Sinclair range, I'm just gonna get Zorko. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Dale
think you'd
as
have
well.
to. Yeah, but Dale, if you're just going that range, I think Dale's the one as well. At that, Clark's obviously a little bit in between. Clark's got really good matchups coming up too. He doesn't get a lot of the ball as much as he'd like, George, right now. He's scoring all right, but like you said, his dream team's not been huge to start the year, whilst he's still scoring all right in SuperCoach. You don't
He's
have a
been like that
concern
last
there?
year. He's
Feel
low
like that?
clanger player. He's like a
Yeah.
clanger lower than every other defender, flanker.
Kicks at 40 meters after an intercept and Bob's your uncle.
And Brian's output's regressed. I think Clark's like the most durable of the lot, but I think the most upside is Zorko. And I like Whitfield too and Sinclair. Like, I think those three are probably top three.
So funny. Why there's so many defenders now. Like Dale's there too.
Should have started six of them.
Legit. Roberts D6.
Yeah.
I think Dale I like a lot with Fraser playing up the ground, and he'll probably continue to, especially with Trelaw set back. He'll probably stay in that role, I'd say, for another maybe 4-6 weeks.
Yeah.
Dale's got some really nice matchups as well, actually, for defenders. So I don't know. I feel like you can't go wrong. The defenders are all looking really nice right now. So I think it's a matter of preference. There's none that you would say stay away from, George. Would you more than the rest of them?
I don't know. A few of them did soft tissue in pre-seasons. I don't really like that, but I don't know. It's not like they're going to underperform. It's just because they missed 3 weeks of pre-season. Some more can it reoccur? Like Sinclair and Day, I've done them before. I don't know. Like that bothers me a bit when I pick them, but we saw with the English a few years ago. Didn't have him season over.
All right. We'll wrap it up, George. We've got VC and C. Is it one Jackson McRae VC, or are you going to go TDK before him?
Can we speak about Kane Corns? I like Kane, but
I know you do.
Why go after Jack McRae? The guy's just like put his head down for 10 years, hasn't said a word, just does it and gets it done every year.
He's moved on from Timmy Torano, mate. He's got a new.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right battle to pick with McRae because he's always been like
that clip though. That caller did not go down the right path. Why did the fuck did he say he's averaging 140? Like, why did you have to say that?
That was funny.
You could have literally stated anything else than saying averaging 140. Yeah, it's a weird hill to die on. Like, McRae is good. We know his deficiencies. He doesn't sprint fast and run into open goals and kick him from 45 and look like Bond. Cool. Like, but he does everything else really, really, really well. There's no real weakness. Like, yes, I guess his pace, but so what? You probably had the same thing about defending Matt Crouch for the last 6 years. Like, that's what these guys do, and they do it efficiently and they do it well. Like, just because it doesn't look pretty, don't be a casual, Kane. Like, don't fall into that trap of it doesn't look like Finn or Callahan or Bont or Rosie, so he's not good. Like, you watch the game on the weekend, you can't be saying
they don't win without him.
No. So in saying that, is he a VC or is he a C?
I've got TDK against English into McRae C against Richmond. Yeah.
It's going to be popular. I don't know how well I feel about not VCing TDK because it is a nice matchup, but also at the same time don't want to get baited into taking a 125 and then watching McRae pop 180 on Richmond. Like, I think is totally possible. McRae, he'll take a good matchup like the Tigers and beat up on it. He'll get his 40 if it's there.
Do the same thing every week. I've said for years, like Libba has had his true role. He needs to be bottom of the packs, Jack McRae.
Yeah.
And that's been Dunkley and Libba in his time at the Dogs. So this is him now. We saw it at VFL, pissed in 50 touches.
Yep. So what would you take from TDK? What would he have to get?
I'd take 130.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'll do McRae into Cherry because I got Cherry. I'm happy enough to do that against Adelaide as a safe backup, but I don't think I'll need it with McRae. Probably can't see him going worse than like 120 really, but obviously anything can happen. So that's probably me. I'll probably VC McRae, but I understand the TDK for sure. With a nice matchup. Anything else, George, before we go?
Don't boost in mid prices, probably.
Speculative mid prices.
Grab your premiums and rookies this week.
Yep. Keep an eye on the injury list. We obviously weren't able to get them to you this week. So, if you ever need news, Discord channel and the news channel there, you won't miss anything. So, keep an eye on that. And I'm sure Jaws will do his video on teams later in the week. And good luck. So, big week for trades. Leagues are doing really well, Jaws. I obviously should not forget to mention that.
Bit of a bounce back from the leagues. I think we started collectively pretty poorly last year, so off to a good start this time. Just got to convert now.
Yep. A couple of regulars doing well up in top 100. I think 3 or 4 of them. So
I think you'll be there no time.
Really good stuff there.
You got a good
Maybe. This Finn Callahan trade might be stupid.
No, he'll be right. He's jet, bro.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.